I think the perfect way to describe one of the main issues with the modern Batfamily in mainstream DC Comics is that it's just way too damn big. Like, why is Harley Quinn here? Harleen over here thinks she's a team player, then practically turn into a part-time member. Sure, the family roster has been somewhat large even back during the pre-New 52 era of DC Comics, but writers just keep adding more and more unnecessary members that end up being neglected or forgotten down the road. I mean, right now we got so many mofos in the main family roster, not even including Batfamily adjacent teams like Batman Incorporated. But on the other side of things, a really prominent issue with the Batfamily comes from the lack of proper adaptations of the family roster or dynamic and outside media like television, movies, or games. It's like every creator in the industry has had a collective hate boner for the Batfamily mythos and stayed away from it with a 10-foot pole. The general knowledge of the Batfamily members is pretty much limited to the 4 Robins for those unfamiliar with the source material, but even then there's some neglect for characters like Tim Drake, who often get the short end of the stick when it comes to adaptations. There are a decent amount of characters that have either had a very limited amount or just straight up no significant adaptations across different media. My baby girl Cassandra Cain gets no love outside comics. The only 2 depictions that come to mind are the Birds of Prey film in the DCEU and Young Justice. The version in the Birds of Prey film is just an absolute travesty. She's the character in name only, not resembling the character from the comics in any way, shape, or form. Does this version have any martial arts training? No. Was she raised by David Cain or Lady Shiva? No. Does she have any connections to a single Batfamily character? No. She's just some random little girl who serves as a means to get the plot going. I genuinely do not understand why the writers called her Cassandra Cain. The Young Justice depiction is actually pretty solid, but like many characters in the show, her screen time is very short, but she does get a cool little arc in season 4. It's basically her origin as well as putting emphasis on her mother, Lady Shiva, where they essentially swapped David Cain with Lady Shiva, with her being the one who trained Cassandra and wanting her to become the ultimate weapon for the League of Assassins.
Stay with me, daughter! Else my shadows shall hunt down everyone you care about! Your friend Barbara Gordon will be dead before you return to Gotham!
Orphan, stop! Cassandra, you're free now. You don't have to be the weapon your mother tried to create.
In the comics, Batman served as a father figure to Cassandra, taking into account her previous upbringing and how she never grew up with being taught basic human morals. It served as a way to give Cassandra the opportunity to grow from her past actions as a killer/assassin. Many Batfamily members see Bruce's obsession with becoming Batman and they sort of shy away from that, but Cassandra fully embraces that dedication that is required to wear that symbol. Going by the codenamed Orphan, you see her as a member of what is essentially Batman Incorporated in Young Justice Season 3, but her and Stephanie Brown don't do anything of substance, nor are they given a lot of screen time. Speaking of Stephanie Brown, she gets even less attention than Cassandra. In more recent comics, she was a main character in the Batgirl series where she, Barbara Gordon, and Cassandra all took up the mantle of Batgirl, but that series only lasted like 19 issues or so. I don't even know what Stephanie's been up to since then. You do see the rest of the prominent Batfamily members like Tim Drake, Barbara Gordon, and Nightwing throughout the course of the show, but they're not the center focus because they're not the main characters. I like what they did with Tim in season 2, but he's not given much in season 3 onward. I'm pretty sure they planned on doing some stuff with Jason Todd and Damian Wayne in future seasons, as this was teased in season 3, but with the series not getting another season, it probably will never come to fruition.
Gray, son.
Ah, your memory's finally returning.
What is best for my boy is to be by my side. I will never give Damian up.
You see bits and pieces of some of the lesser known characters in animation, like in the DCAMU for example, which introduced Luke Fox's Batwing and Batwoman alongside Nightwing and Damian, but we really never see much of this iteration of the family in the DCAMU continuity, as the Batman films in this universe are more focused on the dynamic between Bruce and Damian. To make matters even worse, they skipped over Jason Todd and Tim Drake entirely, not even a mention of either character at any point in these movies. It's also a minus 10 points in the gradebook for these movies hoeing Nightwing's character in some way, shape, or form.
You're overrated, kid.
The DCAU, however, I think had a pretty solid foundation for the Batfamily, small and contained, allowing for stronger character writing for each member. It was cool to see characters like Nightwing grow out of the Robin mantle and become his own hero in like Batman the Animated Series. This continuity unfortunately suffers the same fate many adaptations do when incorporating Tim Drake, as while this isn't a bad character or anything, there's really nothing about him that screams Tim Drake. He kinda just acts like another young Dick Grayson or Jason Todd-esque Robin, mainly due to a lack of demonstrating his detective skills and things of that nature. And Barbara Gordon and Batgirl is pretty solid in this universe, for the most part. There's still that elephant in the room that would give any Batman fan the ick if you mentioned Bruce Timm's weird fascination with the Barbara and Bruce ship.
Bruce, it's Barbara.
Hey, Barb.
She misses you.
But spring break will be coming up soon, and I'll be back in Gotham for 2 whole weeks. Won't that be nice?
We'll all be happy to see you.
Don't drag me into this.
I just saw the news, and I was wondering if you'd gotten a new partner. 'Cause if you had, I'd be really upset. 'Cause I thought you and I were, you know.
He was hurt when I chose to stay behind with Bruce.
As his partner. His girlfriend? Whoa.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that? I'm sorry, man. I wasn't thinking about it.
The fact that I've seen some people say there's nothing in turn wrong with this pairing is crazy work. Talking about they're both adults, so what's wrong with it? In the comics, it's in the comics, so why are y'all complaining?
I'm not upset with y'all because I know you're mentally ill, which is why one day I'm going to open up a hospital for mentally ill.
First off, there has not been a single time this has been a thing in mainstream DC Comics. They only say that in reference to the DCAU Batman Beyond tie-in comic where Bruce had her pregnant. And 2, you're telling me you don't find it weird for a guy to have an interest in his best friend's daughter / his own son's often romantic partner?
Weird, buddy. You're weird.
I think a really underrated depiction of the Batfamily is via the Batman cartoon from the early 2000s. The only members include Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, but I think the dynamic works really well. This version of Batman as a whole, I think, does a good job in slowly becoming more willing to work with others, as this is a younger Batman in his mid to late 20s or so. There's an interesting bond between Batgirl and Robin, as Barbara is a few years older than Dick, so she kinda has this almost big sister type energy whenever they interact.
Do you ever get scared?
What, you're scared?
B, let's not redirect the question.
Do I get scared? Yeah, sometimes I guess.
It's fun to see Dick Grayson as Robin have this very playful energy to his crime fighting and how it bounces off with his dynamic with Bruce in the field.
Hard or easy, your choice.
Looks like I'm not the only one with a lackey.
Who's the lucky now, huh?
Sure.
I swear, this Batman show was slow slept on, bro. It's not even funny. I think the gaming side of things have had a massive impact on people's perception of the Batfamily, or just letting people know they at least exist. The Arkham games, while featuring the family, have had problems in the lack of a proper dynamic amongst the members themselves, as many of them don't have too much to do throughout the course of the series. Active Batfamily crime fighters were first seen in the Arkham City DLC as playable characters with distinct challenge maps, featuring the likes of Tim Drake, Robin, and Nightwing. Arkham Knight also features Tim Drake in the main game's narrative, but you constantly see Batman put him at a distance for his own mind's sake, as he wanted him to focus on the cure for the Joker disease, and even went as far as placing him in a cell after Tim found out Batman was susceptible to becoming the Joker himself. They really got my man's built like Eminem with that cut. Barbara Gordon is prominent as the girl in the chair in Asylum City and Night, but she literally gets kidnapped early on in Arkham Knight. There's also the weird creative choice of having Tim and Barbara engage and ultimately married post Arkham Knight. I genuinely don't know why Rocksteady did that. Nightwing was done dirty a couple of times with being captured by Penguin and being defeated by Harley and Poison Ivy in the Harley Quinn DLC. We never really got to see too much of Jason Todd as Red Hood and what his relationship with the rest of the family would have been like after Bruce fakes his death. Gotham Knights handles some of the family aspects well, but there are some questionable creative decisions, like with Red Hood's abilities. It feels more like the stereotypes surrounding each member bleed into the character writing and dialogue, and the four knights don't interact with each other outside of the cutscenes in the Belfry. You only see any notable interactions if you're playing co-op. Many character moments or arcs for each member are only prominent in side quests instead of actually being incorporated in the main game. There's only one notable cutscene between Nightwing and Red Hood that isn't in the Belfry, but it suffers the same problem by not being in the main game. It's just a side quest.
I bet I could stay up here all night.
Sure you can.
Dick? Dick! I was an acrobat, you know?
Fine, you can sit. But you have got to shut up.
Adding new characters can change the roles of others, such as how Damian Wayne's arrival impacted Tim Drake's position as Robin. I swear, Tim Drake hasn't been given justice since either before the New 52 or maybe around James Tynion's Detective Comics Rebirth run. Bro's detective skills have been praised by the likes of Batman and Ra's al Ghul and is a pretty skilled hand-to-hand combatant, but modern writers have been treating my boy like straight fodder. When it comes to Jason Todd Red Hood, a recurring problem I often see is how writers will retread the same story beats over and over again. It's this repetitive nature where he has a conflict with Batman and the rest of the family with either his no-kill rule or going after the Joker. He reconciles with them and adopts a less brutal approach to his crime fighting to where he can work alongside the family. Then something happens where he butts heads with Batman or some other Batfamily member, and then for whatever reason wants to kill the Joker again, rinse and repeat. And I'm just really sick of artificial conflicts within the Batfamily. One minute you have a heartfelt father and son moment between Batman and Nightwing after the events of Dark Crisis. Next thing you know, you have some bullcrap Gotham War event where there's a short divide that leads to a physical altercation between Batman and the rest of the family. In terms of giving light to some of the even lesser known characters, I mean, does anyone even really care? Personally, I've never really cared for characters like Duke Thomas Signal, Harper Row, or Jace Fox, who became Batman of New York. I don't really understand the point of his character, not like the Batman mythos benefits from yet another Batman. He's not even that prominent in current comics, nor do I see him appear in any other major modern Batman stories. I low-key forgot he existed for a good while. The adaptations of the Batfamily in live action, or lack thereof, is just absolutely pathetic, and a part of a larger problem of Batfamily depictions. The last time there had been a prominent Batfamily in a live-action theatrical film was the infamous Batman and Robin from the late 90s. I don't really think I need to explain why this was such a stinker. The film was so bad every future adaptation wouldn't even touch simple Batfamily lore like incorporating a Robin. The other live-action depictions are seen through a couple of TV shows like Titans, for example. This Batfamily is complete garbage. They butchered pretty much every character aside from like maybe Barbara Gordon. Batman's a psychotic murderer. Tim Drake acts in nothing like his comic counterpart. Nightwing just acts like another pseudo Batman brooding character. The writers tremendously fumbled the Red Hood character in every way imaginable. The CW is an absolute disgrace to anything Batman related. The only Bat related show that was connected to the Arrowverse was Batwoman. This version of Cassandra Cain is a bunch of dog doo-doo. She just acts like a gender bent Bruce Wayne, but worse, she has no distinct personality nor is she likable.
I need you to fix his suit.
The suit is literal perfection.
It will be when it fits a woman.
You're a female Bruce Wayne.
Awesome, hilarious, handsome.
I haven't seen the Gotham Knights TV show, but I can only imagine the pain and suffering one must have felt as a Batman fan, or what any human being with intelligence must have felt watching that show. Like, bro, who the hell is Turner? The selection of characters in this show is so weird. They made a completely original character as Bruce Wayne's adopted son. They implemented characters like Carrie Kelly, Harper Row, and Stephanie Brown, who without a doubt probably don't resemble their comic counterparts in the slightest. Was the budget for the show $20? A college student could 3D print a better looking bat cowl than that. It's refreshing to see how the new DCU under James Gunn and Peter Safran are introducing their new Batman, with him being an established crime fighter, but more importantly, this new take will incorporate members of the Batfamily. This is honestly the first step in the right direction if you want to differentiate from the live-action Batman that have come before, as well as Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Batfamily in the DCU.
At first, I was kind of confused and shocked as to why they would even start with Damian Wayne as Robin when introducing this Batfamily, as I was expecting at the latest Tim Drake to be Robin or something along those lines. There are some initial concerns that they might go the DCAMU route, where they just go from Dick straight to Damian and skip over some of the other prominent members of the family to avoid being too bloated. On the flip side, this could be an effective choice to start with Damian, as the audience could be introduced to the Batfamily through his perspective, as he's first brought onto the fold and meets characters like Nightwing, Tim Drake, Barbara, Alfred, etc. It would be weird to not include characters like Jason Todd Red Hood into the mix. I'd be surprised if they had no interest in incorporating Jason Todd in this universe. There are a multitude of ways they can give light to other relevant Bat family members in other projects, like Nightwing with the Titans, solo projects, or prequel projects showcasing how Bat family members have interacted with Batman in the past. Bat family mythos is something that needs to be shown more in the public eye, as it's a major part of the Batman's character and that more often than not gets neglected in popular media. Whether it's a more self-contained roster with only a few members here and there, centering around the main Robins, or a larger roster with a variety of characters. Despite some of its problems, the Bat family has proven to be one of the most beloved and overall best lineup of heroes surrounding a character's mythos.